5 times that Rimmer could have been reborn, remade, resurrected within the show into a new flesh and blood body, but didn't. Well, greetings fellow dwarfers. Today we're having a look at a little idea I had whilst re-watching some old episodes, particularly Bodyswap. Whilst this episode gets a mixed reaction from fans, Bodyswap really lays down some interesting theory ideas that Rimmer or anybody could swap their mind within the show into anybody else's body very, very easily, it seems. In very little time, all you need is a donor body of almost any description. If it can hold a mind, Rimmer could go into it. Now, no doubt, Rimmer would very much like his body, the replacement body, to be a replica, a clone of his original body, but the episode Bodyswap very much establishes the idea that he has such a blast being in a real body, he wouldn't really care and he'll take anyone's. So, let's look at 5 times that he could have done just that. Series 3, Episode 6, The Last Day, Hudson 10's body. In the episode, Hudson 10, the new replacement android that's going to replace Crichton, comes along, but on learning about Silicon Heaven not existing, he has a bit of a meltdown and sort of dies. Could Rimmer have put his mind into that body, into Hudson 10's body? Theoretically, yes, although it's a little bit unclear in the show whether or not he just has a software problem and breaks down, or whether there's some charged circuits and a bit of a hardware issue. It's a little bit unclear, but presuming the hardware's good, Rimmer, I suppose, could have put his mind into Hudson 10's body. Mind you, loony Rimmer inside of a body more powerful than the Terminator? Maybe not such a good idea. Another opportunity could have been in Series 4's Meltdown. At the end of the episode, all of the Waxdroids are killed, but it is said in the episode that the bad droids were trying to kill Meltdown and remake the good droids to be bad ones. So it seems like even though these guys were killed, they could have been melted down and remade into a new body. Could have been made into a body that's a replica of Arnold's to have his mind put into him. Although I have a suspicion that Arnold simply wouldn't have wanted one of these bodies, given how he just dismissed these guys, treated them as if they weren't sort of really alive, didn't care that loads of them had been killed at the end of the episode, so I very much doubt he would have wanted a Waxdroid body. Okay, Series 6, Episode 5, Rimmerworld. Probably the most obvious example many people will think of. An entire world, an entire planet populated by clones of Rimmer. Every single one of those people, every single one of those bodies would have been the ideal donor body for Arnold. However, while Arnold, I don't think would have had many qualms about sticking his mind into one of those bodies, I can imagine Lister and the rest of the crew thinking it was basically murder to just yank someone out their body and stick Arnold in. It would kind of be murder, wouldn't it? However, all of those different Arnolds were kind of killing each other, especially if anyone had even a minor genetic flaw. So there would have been recently deceased ones which perhaps could have been revived. If they were already brain dead, you're not killing anyone to put Arnold in. Just a thought. So there was an opportunity that Arnold didn't take when there were thousands, perhaps even millions of donors that he could have put his mind into and got an exact clone of his original body. Another really obvious example you might already be thinking of and screaming at the screen, Series 4's D.N.A. When it had that D.N.A. machine, it's even implied in the episode that Arnold is thinking along the same lines, that he could create a flesh and blood body for himself using the D.N.A. machine. He's trying to do it with a piece of dandruff, although the joke in there is that the cat sneezes and loses the piece of dandruff, so loses Arnold's original D.N.A. However, yes, okay, so Arnold probably couldn't have remade his own original body using the D.N.A. machine, but he could easily have made anyone else's body. He could have got literally any bit of DNA from the entire ship of any of the old dead crew, made their body and put his mind into it, because just making someone's body from the DNA shouldn't fill it with memories. Although the much later episode Cured kind of implies that maybe DNA would carry memories. But anyway, he could have remade a body using the DNA machine with DNA from any dead crew member, or if you want to make things really simple, you just clone the cat or Lister. They're there, they're alive, you can easily get a blood sample or a DNA sample. Just clone one of them. Surely that's the simplest. And finally, now this one perhaps could be seen as the most sort of insidious, a bit kind of the most murderous, if you like. Series 3's Timeslides gave Arnold plenty of opportunities to kind of grab a living person and put his mind in. It was implied very strongly that from the throwing of a snowball and from the stealing of a briefcase, that stuff could pass two ways through the Timeslides photographs. So they could have, in theory, grabbed someone, put them aboard Red Dwarf, performed a mind swap and put them back. Yes, you would be murdering that person, but you'd be putting yourself back in time through the photograph. Would it work? Would it put you back in time? Or would you be stuck in the confines of the photograph, even though that body, that person originally came from the photo? It's a tricky question to answer. But yes, you could very much just grab someone, effectively murder them and put your mind in. And there you are, bam, you're back on Earth, back at whatever time period you got a photo of. But there is one other way that you could go back in time using Timeslides that doesn't seem so insidious and doesn't seem to murder anyone, doesn't have nearly as many moral consequences. You put your mind, yourself, into your younger self. Rimmer could have done this easily. In fact, he meets his younger self in one of the Timeslides. He could easily have grabbed that young boy he meets, put his mind in, and there you go, he's reborn away from Red Dwarf back 3 million years when he was a young lad, but with the mind and the memories of someone who's about 30. An interesting thought. You're kind of killing the young boy, but the young boy is you? Morally, a bit of a weird one. Kind of an impossible one, but very interesting to think about. Or he could have found himself another photograph, perhaps one of him just before Red Dwarf set off on its voyage, so he could really have avoided the radiation leak. Interesting thoughts. In fact, Crichton and Lister could even have done the same thing as well. Found old photographs of themselves, gone back and put their minds into their old selves before the radiation leak and never get stuck in deep space. But there are some massive paradoxes associated with this method of reincarnation, rebirth, remaking, whatever we want to call it. There's some massive paradoxes involved, as not only would you never be inspired in the future to go back and put your mind in, but also where would that future version of your mind even come from if you went back in time and prevented yourself ever being involved in the accident and ever being stuck 3 million years in the future. Massive paradoxes, so perhaps that's why they never did it, but certainly an interesting thought that Rimmer, or any of them, could have kind of rebirthed themselves back in the past. So there you go, good people, there's my 5 ways that Rimmer could have been reborn, remade, recreated in a flesh and blood body during the run of Red Dwarf episodes that come after the episode Bodyswap. Let me know if my 5 are kind of dumb, or if any of them don't quite work for you, or let me know if there's something I missed. Was there other opportunities? Was there other times that he could have done just this? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video. Bit of a different one, but I hope you like the theories here. And let me know, as I say, your ideas for how Rimmer could have been reborn. Which of the 5 do you think was most likely? Which is your favourite? Guys, thank you so much for watching. We've got loads more content coming out really soon. So make sure you're subscribed if you've not already done so. And give us a like if you've enjoyed this one. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, Smegheads.